Okay, here we are back in the bathroom, and this is actually 2 days later. I do not ever like to process my hair twice in the same day. I usually don't even do it the next day or the following day. I like to really deep condition my hair and go a few days without washing it before I start adding highlights or touching up my highlights, because whenever you're lifting color and you're bleaching out your hair, it can be really damaging. So you really want to start with really conditioned hair and hair that hasn't just been washed and dried and everything that day. That's just my preference. I guess you could if you wanted to. I just feel like it might be more damaging. Okay, so let me just show you what we're going to use, or what I use whenever I highlight my hair. And the first thing I do is I have a powdered bleach, and this is PrismLites. It's called Blue, and it lightens up to 5 levels, and it also adds cool tones. And I typically like cool tones in my blonde over warm tones. It's just what I prefer. I think it looks best with my complexion and eye color and eyebrow color and everything like that. You're gonna need a developer to mix with your bleach, with your powdered bleach, and this is a 30 extra lift developer. It's Clairol Professional Soy Complex, Soy 4-plex. And I used to use a 40, and then I discovered that I didn't need a 40, and 40 is actually more damaging anyways, so I can get the same amount of lift with a 30. I think that happened after I started growing a lot more silver hair. So anyways, I'm glad about that. The next thing you're going to need, obviously, is a little dish and a brush, because you're going to need to mix it in a dish, and you're going to want to brush it on. And then you're going to need some foils, and I've already cut up my foils because you really want to keep the highlights moist. That's really important, because once the product has dried, it stops processing. So you really want to keep it moist so that it continues to lift your hair color to, you know, the desired lightness. And then the last thing, and this is something that I'm going to show you that I do at the end, whenever you're lightening dark hair and you're trying to take it to a really light color, it has to go through a lot of shades, and some of the shades are just shades that do not have complementative, what's the word I'm looking for? Do not have complementary colors in them. You know, you might find some oranges or some reds or some brassiness or something like that. So I like to add some cool tones on top of whatever the bleach took my hair to just kind of get rid of those unwanted colors. And so I use this. It's a Demi-Permanent. You can use a toner. I just prefer the Demi-Permanent. And this is a dark cool blonde. I do not let it process too long. All I do is I let it set for maybe not even 5 minutes, just to remove those colors that I don't like, and add some cool ones. And then you're going to need a Demi-Developer, and this is once again a Clairol Professional Soy 4-plex, and it's just a Demi-Developer. The only thing that this is going to do is it is going to deposit color on top. It cannot lift color at all, so you don't need to worry about this getting on your other hair, because it can only deposit color. Like I said, it can't lift color, so it's not going to affect hair that's darker than a dark cool blonde. So that's what you're going to need. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hair and I'm going to pull out the pieces that I'm going to want to bleach, and then I'm going to clip them with these little, I don't know what they're called, like these little teeth clippies. But because I really like to have it already sectioned out so that I can move a lot faster, because the whole goal is to have your hair processing, all the highlights processing for about the same amount of time. So if you're taking too long and trying to piece pieces out after you've already put bleach in other areas, you're going to waste some time, and that hair is going to process a lot faster than the others. So, so let's go ahead and get started on that part. Let's go ahead and get started on separating those pieces and clipping them up. I'm having a hard time talking right now. Separating those pieces and clipping them up. Okay, for this step, I'm really just going to go in and separate the pieces that I want to highlight, and so that's what I'm going to do. So in order to do that, since I have kind of this fluffy type of hair, I really have to comb it down really tight. And then, as you can see where I've placed my highlights before. So typically I just grab those and pull them up, and then I will definitely go and straighten at at the part because I want it to be really straight. I'm only going to take about this much, only about that much from my part. And like I said, I want it to be straight. I don't want to have any of the dark pieces around it that I like to have as contrast. So I make sure, and I will get close up in the mirror in a minute, but I'm just trying to show you guys kind of what I do. And then I'll clip it like that. And then of course, I don't know how good the lighting is in here, so I don't know if you're able to see the different colors in my hair right now. I hope you are. So obviously I can see that this is a highlight also. So I'll take that and I will pull it up to the top. And then of course I'll straighten the lines out again because I want to be really precise about that. And I'm definitely going to do this off camera in just a second and go piece this out because like I said, I want to be very, very precise about this. And I can see where I'm going to have to highlight. It's going to be right about to there. That looks like a good one. Okay, and then like I said, I will go to the other side, and I'm probably going to do maybe one more on this side. Sometimes I'll do my widow's peak, but I don't think I'm going to do that today. So then I'm just going to take a few pieces on this side and I'm going to clip them up, and then I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I have all my hair pieced out. I've got 2 on this side and then 2 here and then 1 on the crown. And I'm actually going to start with that one because that one doesn't look like it has any lightning highlight in it whatsoever. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need your little bag of powdered bleach, and you need 1 scoop. I use these little plastic spoons. You're going to need 1 scoop of that. And then it's 1 part, you know, powder bleach to 2 parts developer. So I'm going to take my developer. And on the instructions it actually says to use a 20 developer, but I'm using a 30 developer, so it's probably going to lighten faster. Okay, so then, mix it together. Okay, so here's my mixture, and it's really quite thick, if you can see that. And that's the consistency that you want it. You don't want it really runny. Okay, so there you go. So let's get started with the first one. You know what, like I said, I'm going to start with this one because I'm going to have to take this bleach all the way down to the end. Okay. So I take my foil, put it right. Take it just like that. I hope that you guys can see this. It's very difficult for me to do a piece that's so far back like that. Okay. I don't ever take the color all the way to the bottom, but since this one didn't seem to have any highlights in it whatsoever, I will. So you really want to saturate it with your bleach, just like that. And then you just want to fold it up. Just like that. Okay, I hope you're not looking at my nails because this is like 2-day-old nail polish. Like I said, you always want to keep a cloth, a damp cloth, near because you will get bleach on your fingers and it will bleach it out pretty fast. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Okay, I found the piece that fell out, and it's this one right here. But you know what? I'm going to start with this one instead. Okay, let's make sure the lines are straight. Yep, see that line? That's how I like it. I think I've got a little bit too much. That might be a little bit too chunky. Okay, so once again, put it right there. You can see really clearly where the color stops. So that's where I take it. Right to there. You know what, usually I pre-fold them and I really should do that. Okay, so let's leave that there for now. You know what, I'm gonna pre-fold my next one because it makes it a lot easier. And I just take it and I pre-fold it like this. Just one on each side like that. Just so it's easier. Just like that. Okay, I just sure hope that my camera is staying focused. Okay, so let's move over to this one. Make sure the lines are straight, yes. And like I said, if they're gonna be angled, I want them angled backward, back towards the crown of my head. And I like that. I actually like it when it's angled back like that. Okay. So, it's kind of hard for me to see right now. Let's see. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, and I really want to stop where I see that it's already bleached out, because the last thing I want is to just fry my hair, you know. And a lot of times I will pull my hair and make sure it just goes all the way up to the top of the foil. And the same with this one. And then I'll bend it back like this. Just so that I can see, you know. My husband, he gets to see me looking so crazy all the time, like this, running around the house. I'm about to make dinner like this too in a second. Okay, so next. Okay, once again, I think this might be a little bit too thick. Shoot. Okay. Okay, so just like that. Okay, you can see where the color needs to be. Once again, I pull it because I want the color to go all the way to the, you know, the part if I can. So, once again, I'll just fold it back. Okay. And then, last piece. And it's amazing how just putting a few highlights in there can really just make a difference on the entire appearance, you know. Now, once again, I'm just trying to make sure that the lines are straight, and it looks like it is. Okay, so now I have all my foils in, and now I'm just going to start watching the timer. So right around kind of like the 30-minute marker is when I'm going to start opening up some foils and checking the color, because I'm really wanting to see kind of a light yellow, almost like a, I don't want to say canary yellow, but pretty close to that. I don't need it to be a pale yellow because I'm not trying to go platinum. So I'm wanting to just, after I end up putting my little Demi-Permanent toner on it, I want the color to end up kind of like that. So what like I said, I'm going to keep coming back and checking it right around the 30-minute marker, and just to see, you know, how light it has gotten and how much more it may have to go. And I'll show you that. I'll show you what color I'm kind of looking for whenever I'm ready to wash it out. So I will be back in a little bit. Okay, so I'm back and I just checked the color and I think it is to the color that I need it to be. So anyways, I'm not sure if you could see, it looks, when you start to kind of remove the product, you can see that there's a light, it is kind of a pale yellow. So I think that's actually gonna be pretty light, which is fine. I think it will still end up to be about that color right there. So that's the color that I want it to be. One more thing that I wanted to tell you is that when you are processing your hair, don't throw away your mixture right away, because when you check it, you're going to want to rub the mixture away to see if it's the proper color. But if it's not, you're going to want to add some more color to it. Hopefully, typically, usually, there's still quite a bit on your foil. So you may not need to, but just in case, you just want to have some mixture just in case. Okay, so I'm going to go wash these out. So yeah. Okay, I think you can see at the root there that it's really, really light. God, I might not even need a toner at all. Uh-oh, I don't like that. Okay. Another reason why I like to use the Demi-Permanent, even if it's just to leave it on for just, 30 seconds or a minute, is because a lot of times you will see that there's not a perfect transition from the hair you just highlighted and your previously highlighted hair. So in order to create, in order to make a more seamless transition, yep, see that? See how blonde that is? It's really, really blonde. Okay. I kind of want to let that last one sit in a little bit longer because that one was the darkest out of all of them. Okay, so I think I'm going to go wash my hair and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have washed my hair, but I have not conditioned it, and you do not want to condition it yet for this stage. Now, as you can see, there are the highlights that I just put in, and they are a terrible looking color. They're not something that you would ever find naturally in nature. Not just that, it looks like they stop there, even though, as you saw before, the bottom part was very, very blonde. So it takes it to this crazy looking color, but that's the color you need it to be in order for everything to turn out the way you want it to. So, so that's where my Demi-Permanent comes in. I want to get rid of these unwanted colors and just deposit some cool dark blonde colors on top of them, just to remove the not desirable colors, and then bring it to a color that I'm happy with, like the colors that you see up in the front of my head. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And what I did is I took my Demi-Permanent color, and this is a dark cool blonde. What does it say? It's a dark cool blonde, 6A. And then I just mixed equal parts with my Demi-Developer. I've already done that. I don't ever really measure it out at all. I just eyeball it. And so that I've already done. And you need very, very little bit. I mean, there's so little in here. And so I'm going to basically paint it on, and then you're going to watch it take away those colors, and then I'm going to have to jump in the shower and wash it real fast. Okay, I hope to God I'm focused. This is the most important part. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. And like I said, you do not have to be worried about getting it on the hair around the highlights, because it cannot do anything to hair that's darker than, as you can see, the color is already being removed. You want to act really fast because I don't want this sitting in my hair too long, because I don't want it to darken the highlights that I just put in too much, and then it just looks like I don't have highlights at all. Now, where's that last piece? See how quickly it's removing that color? Like I said, I don't want it to stay in there too long because I still want my highlights to look blonde. Okay, so now they're really starting to blend really nicely, as you can see. Okay. Okay, I think that's long enough. I've got to get this out before it takes the blondes out completely, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have washed the Demi-Permanent color out of my hair, and as you can see, the colors are just a lot more natural looking, and they just also blend a lot better. So all it did was kind of deposit those dark blonde colors on top of those crazy yellows, and then it just comes out to a perfect looking color highlight. And I can tell because it's the same color as these up in the front, and that's what I was going for. And the wonderful thing about using a Demi-Permanent color for this stage to kind of, tone it to the color that you're more happy with, is that should you accidentally leave the Demi-Permanent color on a little bit too long, within a few washes it will lighten up, and so those highlights will come right back out, so you don't need to worry about that if you do leave it on a little bit too long. But I can tell that I'm going to be very, very happy with this once I dry it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go dry it, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you just the final results. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the final result, and this is actually the next day because after I washed my hair, it was dinner time, and then the night just kind of got away from me. So, so this is the next day, and I have to say that I'm extremely pleased with my results. So let me just show you what it turned out looking like. Now I'm going to brush these nice and straight so you can see. As you can see, you know, those are the spots where I added my blondes. And I think that they just came out to a really, really nice color. So I don't know, I really like that. And I think that if somebody saw me, they wouldn't go, wow, that's totally an at-home job, you know? So, so then here we go, here's this side. Let's see if I can get, I'm hoping that you can see these highlights and how they turned out. I'm really pleased with the one that I put back here on my crown. I just think that that one came out to be such a beautiful color. Look at that. I don't know if you could see it. I didn't get it all the way down to the root. So that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you at my next video. Bye.